Focus to the main debate of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ahead of the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly polls, the Congress and the National Conference alliance is under fire from the BJP. Home Minister Amit Shah has raised some pointed questions for the Congress camp over promises made by the National Conference in its manifesto, namely the promise to restore Article 370 and 35A, encourage dialogue with Pakistan and re-look the expanded reservation for scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and other minority communities in the Union Territory. The BJP has called the agenda anti-national and something that will undo the progress Jammu and Kashmir has made after the abrogation of Article 370. While the National Conference has said the BJP is spooked, the Congress has not clarified its stand on the contentious aspects of the manifesto. In response, the Congress has reminded the BJP of its alliance with the PDP after the 2014 elections, which collapsed in 2017. To be fair, that was a post-poll alliance with a common minimum program looking at the mandate in both the Jammu and the Kashmir regions. But the alliance has also hit roadblocks over seat sharing in Banihal. National Conference leader Sajjad Shaheen has raised a banner of revolt. The party cadre has unanimously decided to oppose any move to concede the Banihal seat to the Congress party. The big question that arises from these developments is that, is there a lack of ideological synergy between the Congress and the National Conference? With such a manifesto, what do both the parties hope to gain in the BJP-dominated Jammu region, where they will contest 43 seats? Will the Congress be forced to take one line in Jammu and another in Kashmir? Is this a result of the victory of separatist leader Engineer Rashid, who defeated Omar Abdullah in Baramulla, forcing the National Conference to tilt towards the separatist narrative? Or is this pretty much the agenda of the India bloc to deter the BJP in post-370 Jammu and Kashmir and prevent any inroads into the valley? That is the big debate on the Super Saturday debate this evening.
अगर अलायंस के मुताबिक अगर कांग्रेस को ये सीट गई तो नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस इसमें कंप्लीट यहाँ के वर्कर जो हैं, जो हमें वर्करों ने बताया कि हम बाइकआउट करेंगे।
अगर कांग्रेस नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस हमारे एजेंडे को अपनाने के लिए तैयार है कि रेजोल्यूशन ऑफ कश्मीर जरूरी है, टॉप प्रायोरिटी है, रास्ते खोलना, बाकी हम बोलेंगे उनको आप भी सारी सीटें लड़ो, हम आपके पीछे फिर चलेंगे।
मैंने प्रश्न उठाया कि नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस का जो एजेंडा है, तो उनके अलायंस पार्टनर कांग्रेस पार्टी और श्री राहुल गांधी इसके साथ सहमत है या नहीं है, वो घोषणा करें।
And let's get to our guests. I'm joined by Sanju Verma, BJP National Spokesperson, Paramveer Singh, Political Commentator, Amitabh Dubey, Congress Spokesperson, and Abid Wani, National Conference Leader. Thank you for joining us on CNN News 18 on this contentious topic on the road to the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly elections. I want to first take the question to the Congress Spokesperson, just to get a clarification on the National Conference manifesto. Amitabh Dubey, are you in favor of the restoration of Article 370 and dialogue with Pakistan as laid out by Omar Abdullah in the National Conference manifesto?
The line taken by the Home Minister is in a sensitive state.
I didn't ask you that.
Sorry?
I didn't ask you that question. My question was, are you in favor of the restoration of Article 370 and dialogue with Pakistan as laid out by the National Conference?
At no point has the Congress Party called for the restoration of Article 370.
Okay.
You can read our CWC statement of 6 August 2019, and it will be very clear what our position is. My view is that keep in mind that the BJP has itself in the past allied with the very parties that it has been name-calling recently. It had an alliance with the National Conference. More recently, it had an alliance with the PDP. Now, the PDP manifesto had all sorts of things. It called for trade with Pakistan. It called for the use of the Pakistani rupee in Kashmir.
But
the BJP formed a government. Did they agree to these things? No.
Right.
They formulated the policies according to the common minimum program, which is what the Congress Party will do with the NC when it forms the government.
So pretty much you're saying that you reject the contention coming in from the National Conference that they will restore Article 370 and they will push for trade with Pakistan. This is something you don't agree with. Is that clear?
The government that is formed after this election will operate on a common minimum program which will have the signatures of both parties, and that will be the basis for policy in the future.
So Abid Wani, this clarification coming in from the Congress camp, Amit Shah has been demanding this answer from the Congress top brass, but over here we have the Congress spokesperson Amitabh Dubey, who's made it clear that what you've laid out in your manifesto of restoring Article 370, even engaging Pakistan in dialogue, is something that they don't agree with. But don't you feel that there will be a kind of breakdown of the messaging as you're trying to fight these elections in the Jammu as well as the Kashmir regions?
No, absolutely not. In the premises of the debate, you just said that there needs to be some ideological synergy. There is some breakdown in it. No, I don't think so. Because, in the past, we have had alliances with the Congress, be it the Rajiv Farooq Accord, be it the Indra Sheikh Accord, and now, be it the Umar Rahul Accord. Now, we, as far as the common minimum program is concerned, the restoration of statehood is at least a guarantee we can start with.
Okay.
The remaining part of our manifesto is our manifesto. It's our CWC that has recognized the manifesto, and we will strive for it. Whether the Congress likes it or not, whether the BJP likes it or not, we will go ahead with it if we have the numbers.
Right. But Mr. Wani, will you take the same manifesto to the people of the Jammu region as well? Do you think they'll welcome the restoration of Article 370 and dialogue with Pakistan?
Absolutely, Jammu will be in favor of more than Kashmir, I think, right now.
What gives you that sense? I'm just trying to understand, given the fact that BJP won both the seats, BJP is the dominant political player in the Jammu region. Many of your former colleagues in the National Conference have ditched the National Conference to join the BJP. Devinder Rana, one of the biggest leaders of Nagrota, joined the BJP as well. He was one of the tallest Dogra leaders of the National Conference. What makes you think they'll accept this?
That's very much part and parcel of the politics. People come and go. So that's not a priority right now. What our priority right now is that both Jammu and Kashmir is suffering. Post 2019, there hasn't been a scintilla of development that can be recognized on ground. Even if we go by the numbers, I can present many factual numbers that will determine the facts right now. But I don't want to go into that. The debate.
Let me give you one number. I'll give you one number.
Yeah.
And I think that's something, because I hail from Jammu and Kashmir. One thing has been jobs, has been one of the main things. One thing that was really kind of backward about Jammu and Kashmir was that it was the only state in this entire country where the state government was the biggest employer. That was throughout National Conference and PDP rule in Jammu and Kashmir. It was, in fact, all the way till 2021, the Jammu and Kashmir government was the largest employer. Only in 2022 did the tourism sector become the largest employer in Jammu and Kashmir. And also, in 2023, 30,000 jobs were generated in 1 year. That is the highest since independence. So that is the fruits of the abrogation of Article 370. And I think that's something the National Conference glosses over very conveniently. Sanju Verma, please come in on that.
Thank you. Ayushman, actually you've made my task so much easier. You rattled out such relevant data that, I think you've hit the nail on the head. But I just want to very quickly make a few very important points. Congress and the National Conference, if you remember, very recently, they celebrated Black Day, saying that abrogation of Article 370 tantamounted to a Black Day and curtailment of rights of the people of Jammu Kashmir. Whereas, just for the benefit of those who keep throwing Samvidhan ki Lal Kitab at the face of everybody, this is what Justice Chandrachud said last December, when there was a petition in the Supreme Court saying that abrogation of Article 370 is unconstitutional and illegal. Dhyan se suniye. I'm reading from the Supreme Court verdict ad verbatim. The declaration issued by the then President, in brackets Ramnath Kovind, exercises the power and clause 3 of Article 370, bringing into culmination the process of integration of Jammu Kashmir with the Union of India, which was long pending. We do not find that the President's exercise of power under clause 3 of Article 370 was mala fide. We hold the exercise of presidential powers and abrogation of Article 370 to be valid and bona fide. The Supreme Court clearly said that President Ramnath Kovind, when he used his powers under clause 3,
he was actually doing a bona fide deed of integrating Jammu Kashmir with the rest of India, which should have happened maybe 20, 30, 40 years back. Point number one. So you can't question the Supreme Court, because if you question the Supreme Court, then आगे से संविधान की लाल किताब पार्लियामेंट के फ्लोर पर दिखाना बंद करिए. Second point, as Ayushman very rightly said, very quickly, without being verbose, you had the Chenani Nashri tunnel. It started in 2011. It was finally completed by the Modi government in 2017. The Chenab bridge was started by Atal Bihari Vajpayee in 2002. The Congress snoozed over it for decades. And finally, it was completed in 2022 by the Modi government. Currently, as we speak, the Delhi-Amritsar-Katra Expressway, the Jammu-Pathankot National Highway, and the Srinagar Internal Ring Road. These are three very big and ambitious projects which are being brought to fruition. And don't forget, the first university in Ladakh came thanks to Narendra Modi in 2018. 2018 तक लद्दाख में एक full-fledged university तक नहीं थी, and these people are teaching nationalism to the BJP. After 33 years, theaters opened in Jammu Kashmir. After 30 years in 2022, Republic Day पर तिरंगा लहराया गया. आज जम्मू कश्मीर में लोग जनगण मन वंदे मातरम भारत माता की जय बोलने से कतराते नहीं है. And your Rahul Gandhi freely has ice cream at 12 in the night, midnight. This is the change in Jammu Kashmir on the ground.
Absolutely. But Sanju Verma, at the same time, you also have ideological dissonance with your own allies like the TDP as well as the JDU on multiple issues. We saw that play out when it came to the lateral entry into the IAS, into government jobs. So what is the problem over here? The Congress party says we don't agree with the National Conference, and the Congress spokesperson over here, Mr. Dubey, has made that very clear.
You know, this is a very interesting question you asked me. You know, let your audience be the best judge. On your debate, Ayushman, on a live debate, the Congress spokesperson and the National Conference spokesperson are at loggerheads on the issue of whether Article 370 will be restored or not. दोनों ने अलग-अलग बातें कही. But if you read between the lines and the fine print, you will realize that Farooq Abdullah, Omar Abdullah do not want to cede an inch when it comes to the 47 seats in the valley. Out of the 90 odd seats, please remember that the Congress wants a large chunk of the cake with respect to the 47 seats in the valley, because they feel that यहाँ पर appeasement करके हम जीतेंगे. Farooq Abdullah and Omar Abdullah know that these 47 seats in the valley are their bread, butter and jam. So first and foremost, when it comes to seat sharing of these 47 seats in the valley, how is that going to happen without a big fight erupting between the allies? And Mehbooba Mufti, was a very important part of the Gupkar alliance which contested elections, the DDC elections in 2020. But today Mehbooba Mufti is not a part of the NC Congress combined, which means that the Gupkar alliance has...
That's because she saw the results of what happened in the Lok Sabha elections.
Well,
Pretty much the
like
PDP's vote share has contracted and the National Conference is on the rise. They have 2 Lok Sabha seats, even though Engineer Rashid defeated Omar Abdullah in Baramulla. But Abid Wani, I just wanted to ask you, and this is something that's, you know, really troubling about what Jammu and Kashmir was under Article 370. Were you comfortable that the Valmiki community could not go beyond being Safai Karamcharis in Jammu and Kashmir? I don't think in 21st century India, that is something that we should allow and we should go back to. You were comfortable being in a dispensation where the Valmiki community could only be a Safai Karamchari, like anyone from the Valmiki community, no matter what education they got, could only be Safai Karamcharis. I don't think this was a reality of the Valmiki community in any other part of India except Jammu and Kashmir. You want to go back to that?
You know, so much and so forth for the debate of this post-2019 Naya Kashmir scenario. First of all, let me clear that you gave some figures. I need to counter that because then it won't be justice to the debate. 18.3%, the recent MHA reply came into the parliament in the Rajya Sabha. It was a staggering unemployment rate, while the national average stood at 8.9% or something like that. Then the NCRB data comes, the mental health issues. There are 456 suicide cases, and that's directly linked to the unemployment ratio right now in the J&K. Furthermore, even if you go for the investment, 2018 recorded 850 crore rupees of investment, while as it has come down to 250 to 356 crore between 2020 to 2023. There are many figures. You can present figures. I can give you the figures which are much more authentic.
But can you deny that the tourism sector has boomed unlike any other era in the history of Jammu and Kashmir?
Let me have
and I'll tell you what is the main reason for that, because I come from Jammu and Kashmir. Law and order. Half the reason people didn't go to Kashmir was because they were worried about stone pelting, they were worried about buns being called by the Hurriyat, and they were worried about terror attacks. Whenever you took a taxi from Srinagar airport and went to any other part of Srinagar, there would be buns because there'd be security operations everywhere. Now that is not the reality about Kashmir.
No, who is countering that? I did not counter that stone pelting instance or on a rise. Well, I will give you a fair point there. But that does not mean that what happened on 5th of August 2019 was justice done to the people of J&K without taking.
But the Supreme Court has upheld that. That's the final. That's the final avenue for any kind of justice in this country. Supreme Court has upheld the constitutionality of that.
Well, we have previous judgments like the judgment in 2018.
Sir, by that logic, the Supreme Court. No, I'm sorry. This entire argument that you have previous judgments, sir, there is a previous judgment that Article 377 is constitutional. Then there was another judgment which said that the criminalization of same-sex marriage is unconstitutional. Which one should I go by?
Somehow I find that you want me to give up the cause. You just want your fair point. Yeah, the Article 370 remains the main cause.
You're not making a valid argument at the end of the day. You've lost the legal battle. You're fighting the political battle. Clearly, you sense that...
we will take the legal fight. We will take the legal fight.
Where will you take the legal fight? Will you file a review petition in the Supreme Court?
Yes. Why not? What's wrong in that?
Will you? Are you telling me the National Conference will file a review petition in the Supreme Court?
For sure.
Paramveer Singh, political commentator, thank you for maintaining your patience through this debate. This pitch coming in from the National Conference going so towards the separatist narrative, something I thought would be history in Jammu and Kashmir after the abrogation of Article 370. Do you see them sensing the rise of separatist sentiments given the victory of Engineer Rashid, and they want to bank on that?
Ayushman ji, National Conference is still in a stage where the proverbial NC is in the stage where it is like a proverbial ostrich. It's keeping its head in the sand. And the NC leader just smartly ducked the question of the state of Valmikis in Jammu and Kashmir. But we should not forget that state of Gujars, Bakarwals and Pahadi communities also, leave alone the Valmikis also. So what will be the state of Gujars and Bakarwals and Pahadi communities? They are also having a question that they will relook the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe status given to them, to these communities also. So this is a typical hypocrisy. This is a classic example of hypocrisy when you say something and your actions are totally different from that. Mr. Rahul Gandhi too is handshaking with the National Conference, but they are forgetting one thing, that this separatist agenda, they are walking into the turf of Engineer Rashid. People, if people want to those people who like the idea of separatism, they are going to vote for the Engineer Rashid. And recently we have seen the Baramulla elections where he had won the election by 3 lakh votes, more than 3 lakh votes, around 3 lakh votes, and to our ex-chief minister. So that work of that placard of separatism is not going to work this time in this election. People do not want people are fed up of these things. And after the abrogation of Article 370, we have seen that I being a person from belonging to the North India, not from Kashmir, I find out in the newspapers that there are no more terrorist activities there. There are encounters, and we have for the very first time in the last few years, we have seen that all the new boys from Kashmir are not joining hands with these terrorist groups.
Right.
All those people are coming in are exported by the Pakistan from other part of the world. So they cannot deny this fact that after abrogation of Article 370, Kashmir has changed. But
absolutely. And I think that is the main reason why the National Conference and the Kashmiri parties, their base, in fact, collapsed in the Jammu region. Mr. Dubey, I wanted to get this clarification from you. Your party has ruled Jammu and Kashmir before the abrogation of Article 370. Rahul Gandhi is now the champion of reservation, saying the BJP wants to end reservation. Were you comfortable when you were ruling Jammu and Kashmir that the Valmiki community could not be more than Safai Karamcharis?
Well, I'll answer that and then I will address a couple of the other points that were raised.
Go ahead.
Firstly, I want to point out that Tara Chand was the Deputy Chief Minister. He's a Dalit. He's from the scheduled caste community.
I'm talking about the
Made
Valmikis.
Deputy CM by, no, the Dalit community was given the Deputy CM position, which has not been given by any other party.
I'm talking about the
Gujar
Valmikis, though.
Bakarwals received scheduled tribe status in 1991 during a Congress-supported government. The whole country knows the truth about the BJP stance, true stance on
You
reservations.
still haven't answered the
which
question
is
about the Valmikis.
through privatization, outsourcing of jobs, and lateral entry to erode reservations. So if they waited 4 years after the abrogation of Article 370
Mr.
to bring in
Dubey, the
reservations,
Valmiki community
it
still
is
answers you.
obviously
I'm
a
still waiting for that
political
answer.
step. It is not an authentic step.
Okay, what about the Valmiki community?
Well, it's great that they're getting reservations and we fully support that. There's no
You fully
two
support
ways
that, but you
about
were
that.
okay with denying them any opportunity and keeping them as Safai Karamcharis when
Not
you were
at all.
ruling Jammu
Not
and
at all.
Kashmir.
But
Clearly,
I want
but
to
that was
address-
the state of affairs. That was the state of affairs.
I want
You
to
were
address
clearly
two other points
comfortable with
that
that.
the previous speaker.
Yeah, go ahead.
The previous speaker said, and there's this huge thing about the terrorism being over after the abrogation of Article 370. The fact is that terrorism has been declining over multiple decades because of successive governments' hard work. What has happened is there has been a recent spike. Every day we read about attacks in Jammu, not just in Kashmir, but in Jammu. Every day, every week we hear about our own soldiers being killed in Jammu, in the Peer Panjal range.
Yeah.
And General Manoj Pandey, the former army chief himself, has said recently that for 15 years, Peer Panjal was free of terrorism, and today terrorism has reared its head again. So
that's
to
it.
say that terror is on the back foot is incorrect.
I'm sorry, but
May
you
I
have to
please
put it
come
in
in?
context that is a change of tactics. Now they don't walk across the LOC and enter Srinagar. Now they have to go through the hills and the forests of the Peer Panjal range. It's a different paradigm shift altogether. Sanju Verma, I'll give you the final word. Last 30 seconds to you.
And,
Ayushman, first and foremost, post the abrogation. Can I please now have my
Please
say?
go
I
ahead,
did
go
not
ahead, go ahead,
interject.
go ahead.
Post the abrogation of Article 370, and this is Amit Shah, I'm quoting numbers given by him, and I trust the Union Home Minister. Thank you, I don't need your certificate, now keep quiet. 100% fall in stone pelting incidents, 69% fall in terror incidents, 44% fall in casualties of armed forces, 80% fall in casualties of civilians, but, the biggest achievement is this. In 2015 or 2016, the GDP, overall size of Jammu Kashmir economy was not even 50,000 crore. Today, provisional estimates suggest it is at 3.5 lakh crore, which means more than a 600% jump, thanks to the Modi government, which has ensured law and order, which has ensured that the sleeper cells from the other side of the border are reined in, and most importantly, the Indian Penal Code today is applicable in Jammu Kashmir,
Across
not the
Jammu and
Ranbir
Kashmir.
Penal Code.
Absolutely. Sanju Verma, thank you so much for putting that into perspective. But this will be the flashpoint when it comes to the war of words for the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly elections. But that's all we have to pack in on the show. We're going to take a quick break now. More news and updates on the other side.